Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm a minute or two late here. Sorry about that. I had to go grab something at the last minute. So we'll wait until a few people jump on and then we will get started. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because we're going to need that here. All right, I think I've got it together. Had to go start a load of laundry last minute as Ron had a spill. So I had to take care of that. Let's see who we've got on here. Facebook, please cooperate, because that would be really sweet. Come on. Sorry, we're having trouble, it says. Please. I might not be able to see anything again on the laptop. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Tracy. Okay. See if I can get Facebook to cooperate. Here. All right. I don't understand why it does. Guys, just is not cooperating. I am. Come on. Ugh. I'm not going to be able to see comments if this does not come up like it's supposed to. Why does it have to be difficult? Well, that was really nice, but come on. Can we just... Oh, are you still there? Man, what a bunch. I don't know why I don't have a good internet connection. It doesn't make sense. All of a sudden I don't. I've never really tried to do it on a Saturday night, and maybe that's my problem. Come on. It would really be nice if this would work. Okay. Are you guys still there? Hanging in there with me? Trying to get this up. I don't want to view stories. I want to view the... Okay, it says I'm here. Come on. I don't want to be in Marketplace. I want to be in my home. Okay. Which part of home don't you get, Facebook? Oh my goodness. Hello, Cynthia. I don't understand why this is not working. Oh my goodness, finally it's going to maybe let me on. I don't know. Come on. Still cannot see comments except on my phone. There we go. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for hanging in there for all the technical stuff I don't understand. I think it would just work like it's supposed to. All right. Well, we're going to do a project tonight with the caroling mice, and we're going to be using the framed and festive for the sentiments because, as you can see, caroling mice does not have any sentiments. It is a host set that you can only get with your Stampin' Rewards for free by hosting a workshop or placing an order of $150 or more. So I saw this in the back of the catalog, which it's on the very last page in the mini catalog. So it might get missed, and I love this stamp set. It is so cute. All right, so we're going to do a fun fold card tonight. We're going to do one of my favorites, actually. So let's set these aside for the moment. And this is the project that we're going to be making tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you offhand. It's called a book bind. I've heard it called something else too. Oh, and I can't remember what it was. But anyway, this is the card that we will be making. Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, the caroling mice are so cute, aren't they? So we've got a piece of basic white, and this is cut at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 square. Then I've got a scrap piece of basic white that I'm going to use for our sentiment. I've got a piece of Parakeet Party cardstock, and this is cut at 4 by 4 inches square. We've got a card base that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and then we've scored it at 5 1/2 and 6 3/4. Okay, so we're going to fold that first one into a mountain fold, and then we're going to fold the second one back like so. Okay, and then before we do anything else with this piece, we need to emboss this. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder, because what else would you use with caroling mice, right? So we're going to take this, and with this folder you need to remember that you actually, if you're going to put your card like this, you need to turn the folder upside down, because this is where your staff and your, I don't know if you can see that, your time, 2/4 time. So you want those to be upright when you do this. And we're going to put the fold of our card right along the edge of that folder. And then we're going to close that up and grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to put down plate number 1, and then we're going to put in our embossing folder. We're going to put it in sideways. Normally we tell you to put the binding in first, but to do this card this way, we need to make absolute certain that we have our plates centered between the two. And then we're going to put our top plate over, make sure everything is lined up the way it needs to be, because we don't want this to go through the machine crooked and catch the side of the embossing folder. And then we'll just roll that on through. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. Appreciate that. Okay, and that's all we need the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for. And now we have our embossed card front. Okay, so we're going to go ahead then and get that out of my way and give that a good fold back. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of the satin edged ribbon in the gold. I'm going to take a piece of this. I'm going to open this card, lay that down in there flat. We need to make sure that it's flat. And I'm going to put this where we want it and tie this into a bow. Okay, so we're gonna, that bow, come on. Oh, things are not cooperating. And we'll just make that bow. Get it the way we want it. Tighten those up. Then I'm going to hold the center. Get that how I like it. All right, that looks like this twisted on me and it wasn't supposed to. There we go. All right. And then we're going to move this over into the center of that panel. Okay. And give that a quick trim. And now we're ready to seal up our binding. Okay. And that's what makes our book fold. Okay. So let's get this all nice and straight. Grab the liquid glue. And I'm just going to glue this down. And make sure before I do that that I've got my panel where I want it. Give that a good press. All right. And then our card will stay closed there with our book binding. All right. So now we can set this aside and we can begin our stamping. So I'm going to pull out the Stamparatus and that 3 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch white piece of paper. And I'm going to put that into my Stamparatus. I'm going to get these out of the way so I can see your comments because, oh, no, I can't because it stopped again. Oh my goodness. Apparently Saturday night is not a good time to do lives because I never have this kind of trouble on Wednesdays. All right, so we're going to close that up and I'm going as far as I can to the right on this piece. Okay. And you'll see why I did that in just a moment. I'm going to set that aside. I used the Stamparatus because that's a rather large stamp and I didn't want to mess it up. So if I use the Stamparatus, then I get a second shot. So now I'm going to take the lamppost from the Caroling Mice and I'm going to ink that up in Memento. And then I'm going to take this And I'm going to put it so that it's just a little bit higher. And there we go. And now we're ready to add some ground down here. And we're going to do that with Pool Party ink, which apparently I have in another bin for Wednesday's projects. Hang on. Oh, actually I don't. Where did I? Oh, okay, here we go. I already pulled it for this project. Sorry about that. I seem to be a hot mess tonight. Okay, so I'm just going to pull in a piece of scrap paper here. And I'm just going to randomly go along here and stamp in some snow for the ground. Okay. And then I'm going to add some Orchid Oasis ink. I'm going to take the notes. There's 2 different note stamps in that set. I'm going to start out with the double one. And up here, just going to place a few notes. Kind of randomly. Just so you know they're singing. Okay, so we're done with the Orchid Oasis ink. And now we are ready to color our images. All right. So I've saved us some time, and unless you guys want to see me color the entire image, you tell me, do you want to watch the whole coloring process or just one of the mice? And then I will do what it is you want. Okay? Okay. Well, I'm not seeing any preferences. Oh, I need those notes for a card. Oh, Jennifer wants to see it all. Okay. So I have started with, I've got Parakeet Party here, light and dark. And I'm going to color this little mice. I color some of his hat here and his jacket, and I'm starting with the dark. I'm just going to give it a little bit of dark along the edges here, down here where there would be some shadow. Okay. Then I'm going to go back with my light Parakeet Party. I'm going to color that in. I might have to scrounge for some Stampin' Blends out of my other container for Wednesday's project. Okay, so we've got that jacket done. And I've used Pool Party for his, what am I missing? Blends. I don't get it here. Where are my Pool Party blends? They're not, oh, they're right where they're supposed to be. I was looking in the wrong spot. Oops. Okay, so we've got light and dark Pool Party. And we're just gonna give this some shadow. down below the music page. And then we're going to finish this in with some light. Okay. And then I've colored this first mouse in a light gray granite. Oh, but before we get too far on that, we need some cheeks. Okay, so let's put some cute little cheeks there. And then we'll go back, color over those. And blend them in. And that way we don't end up with that alcohol splosh that we don't like. Okay, so there's our mouse. And then let's find the dark gray granite here and add a little bit of shading under here and then to his tail. Okay. All right, and we'll go back with a little bit of light flirty flamingo in the ears and finish that up with the light gray granite. Really, it just gives it a hint of the pink, but is not overpowering. Okay, and then of course we need to color his little hands. Okay, so there is our first little mouse. For the second mouse, I used light and dark crumb cake. Where is my, here we go. Got this, and again, I'm going to take that light flirty flamingo, I'll color a little bit in the ears, color the mouth, and give him just a little bit of a cheek there. I'm going to go back with my light crumb cake. And I do have my surface protected so that because the blends will bleed through the cardstock. And I need to protect my work surface. Stampin' Blends are my favorite coloring medium. They make everything look so professional, even when you're not. So I've got his hands, and then I'm going to go with the dark, go along these areas that will be shaded. And then I'll finish that off with the light. And so that will be my first mouse, or my second mouse. And then we're going to take and we're going to use some real red for his hat. Okay. And then we're going to get the dark real red, and we're going to put in the areas where there would be shadow. in the dark here. And get that right there. A little bit more dark on this one because he's so shadowed by the other guy. Oops, I just messed up because that is the, let me go back and take my color lifter. Oops, bloopers again tonight. Just keeping the crafting real. I'm going to take that out. Oh my goodness, I should have done the scarf first, I think. And then I would have made sure I knew what I was coloring. And I'm just going to fill this in with the light. Okay. And then we're going to take the dark smoky slate and some shadows for the scarf. And hopefully I can fix this little bit of a mess I've got going. From putting my real red in where it didn't belong. Okay, so we've got that. The light smoky slate. All right. Go back and see if I can take some more of that out as it dries. Okay. I'll let that sit for a minute. We'll move on to our final mouse. And his or her scarf is going to be in the Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to start with the dark. Okay. And then I'm going to fill it in and blend with the light. And it's got just the tiniest bit of a hat that you can see here. So we're going to go with the dark, or the light, or the dark Orchid Oasis. And I'm just going to put a dot right up there. And you can't even probably really see that, but it is there. And then we're going to go right under the scarf with the dark Orchid Oasis. Of course, this would all be in shadow here. Okay. And right here. And then we're going to go back with the light Orchid Oasis and fill in and blend with small little circles right over the top of what we did the dark in the same area. Okay. And that will take out any harsh lines. All right. So the last mouse I did in, Actually, it needs to be soft. We're going to do this one in soft suede. So we're going to start with the Flirty Flamingo. Put a little bit there. And again, a little bit on the cheek. And then we're going to move to the light soft suede. And color that all in. Going over that cheek. I feel like my soft suede might be getting low again. Okay, so we've got that. Do the hands. And the legs, and I need the dark here. Fill that in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go back and put just a little bit of the dark soft suede right along here. And a little bit right here. Okay, then we'll blend that back out together with just little circles. Blend that in. And there we go. And finally, we need the dark and light smoky slate. We'll do the got the dark, so I'm going to put a little bit of shadow. All right. Ouch. You're not supposed to have your finger in the way when you try to close that up. It pinches. Then we'll put this in. Color that up. And okay. And then we're going to go ahead and add this back in over here and see. It's not the prettiest in there. You know that's going to bother me. I'll have to fix this. All right, so now we're going to take our dark real red. And I'm just going to go right along here, put just a little bit of dark in there. And then blend in the light with those little circular motions over the top of the dark and outward. And there we are. Okay, and then finally, the last thing we have to color is our lantern. So we're going to put just a little bit of dark at the bottom here. And then we're going to fill that in with the light. All right. Okay. So now we need to add some Wink of Stella because that light is, of course, going to be sparkling. And we also need a little bit of sparkle on our scarves. Okay. And then the finishing touch will be a little bit of puff paint, but let me get these Stampin' ones completely out of my way. Okay, so I'm going to take my puff paint and I'm going to mix that up really good. And this is runny, so you need to be really careful when you tip it over. I'm going to put a blotch right there. I run just the tip. I'm not even squeezing. I'm just running the tip here along this edge here. And then I put a little dot there. Okay. Then we'll get our heat tool. And we'll heat that up for a minute. I'm going to grab our tweezers, reverse tweezers from the Embossing Editions kit. We're going to go from the rear. And we're going to put a little bit of heat there to start that drying on the back. And then go from the top. Put some heat on there. And let that sit until it puffs. Okay. It's puffy. Okay. Looks like I got just a bit right there on the edge that didn't puff the way I wanted it to, so I'm going to add a little bit of extra heat there. And then I've got these cute little hats. Okay. Now, we can take and let this piece cool for just a second. And then we're going to add it to the parakeet party. And I'm going to let that cool for a minute. And while I'm letting that cool, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And I've got the Fa La 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 from the Framed and Festive stamp set. That is the stamp set that is a special release in the Fitting Florets collection. And we need some cherry cobbler here. And we're going to stamp this up. Now, if you don't like fussy cutting, because I'm going to fussy cut this sentiment, if you don't like fussy cutting, you could put it on a label of some sort, but I really liked the way this looked. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm getting all my excess off to make this easier. And then I am going to fussy cut this. I'm just turning my paper with my left hand and opening and closing the scissors with the right. And that makes the fussy cutting a lot easier and smoother looking. So these curves really aren't that difficult. It's fairly easy to fussy cut. Just don't get in a hurry. Take your time, make sure you turn your paper with your non-dominant hand. And pretty soon you will have a beautifully hand-cut sentiment. And there we are. So now we have our sentiment. And I think that looks quite nice. Okay, so now we can go ahead and add our, let's straighten that out a bit. Grab the Stampin' Seal right here. And then we'll add this to our square. And I put quite a bit of adhesive on there because I've heat set that paper and it's warped a little. And then I'm going to take this, and because I'm adding this piece to an embossed, 3D embossed layer, I'm going to use liquid glue so that it can get into all those nooks and crannies and my card won't come apart. Okay, now remember you're centering this between the score line here and the edge of the card. Okay, we'll give that a good press. And then I like to take these and open them up, lay it flat and as best I can, and then give it a little press with you don't want to press much too hard though, because you'll flatten out your puff paint if you press too hard. Okay, so we've got that. That's good. And then we will get some mini Stampin' Dimensionals for our sentiment. And I am actually going to cut a couple of these in half with my snips so that I can place them strategically in some smaller areas. To pop this sentiment right off the page. Because I've got these real small layers. And then I'm going to take the very edge. I'm going to cut a real thin strip. And I'm going to put that on the F. Give those a good press. And then remove the release papers. Tweezers work really good for this. You could also use your take your pick tool. Those release papers really like those. They don't want to release and stay there. Okay, and then I'm going to put this just right down here. And there is the front of our card. Okay. So for the inside of the card, I've taken the sentiment from the Framed and Festive, 'Tis the Season to be Jolly. I've stamped that in cherry cobbler ink. I've stamped the tree image from the caroling mice, this one right here, in Memento. And then I've colored it in Parakeet Party. And I see I need the soft suede for the tree trunk. I forgot to do that, so we're going to add that real quick right here to the tree trunk. All right, and that's the inside of our card. So then we can go ahead and add this here. And that really is a pretty easy card. It packs a little bit of wow. And for the envelope then, I've stamped the single mouse in that stamp set and colored him up with the Parakeet Party Smoky Slate and Cherry Cobbler for his bow, and used those music notes again in Orchid Oasis. All right, so that's the project that I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to try to, I'll be back on Wednesday for sure with the Yeti projects. I have 2 Yeti projects that I think you're going to love. And then I will try to go live again next weekend for another project, because I figure if I can get 3 projects done every week in November, then we can finish the 12 projects of Christmas by the 1st of December. Anyway, that's my plan. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you again Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Oh, and as a reminder, don't forget to set your clocks back tonight. As we go back on standard time, we get to fall back an extra hour of sleep. Yay! All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.